What an obedient group. You know, sometimes it's herding cats, but today it's working. My name is Joyce Madsen, and I'm your gathering companion this morning. And I want to welcome all of you to be with us today. And some of you I saw just yesterday. So we'll talk more about that later. But this morning, we're going to light this candle. And we do that every time we gather together. It's a symbol of us as community. And those who light candles from wherever they are, you should understand that you are connected with us as well. So the candle for me, it kind of represents and connects all of us regardless of where we are. Its light and its warmth remind us of the impact we can have when our many candles connect with one another, creating safe and loving spaces to be together.
And it's my privilege to get to invite us. It's my privilege to invite us into our time of affirmation, where we get to say each and every time we gather that SSUC is a place where we work hard to make a safer place for all people. And so no matter who we are, we're welcome here. All sizes, all ages, all colors, all cultures, all abilities, all genders, all sexualities, all thinking styles and neurotypes, all religions or none, all people. This is our commitment to our affirming and expansive journey. And as part of our affirming commitment this morning, I'm going to add a little short awareness moment that might help us reach deeper into our affirming commitments and desire to affirm each person. And we're just going to have a tiny little awareness moment about our pronouns. Many of us wear pronoun pins on our name tags or have them written right there. Many of us introduce ourselves and include our pronouns. This is a way to identify ourselves in a world with many genders and many ways to be, in a diverse and beautiful world and ways to understand ourselves. When we know someone's pronouns, it becomes our responsibility, all of us, to try our best to use the correct ones. As you know, a pronoun, I don't have to tell all you language nerds, a pronoun is a replacement for a noun. The noun in this case being our names. If you were to call me by the wrong name once, I'd correct you and no big deal. But if you were to call me the wrong name again and again, I'd have to wonder if you really cared about knowing me or valued me enough to learn my name. Pronouns as replacements for names are the same way. We show respect by doing our best to learn each other's names and pronouns. A friend recently gave me this tip that I wanted to share to help us in this journey of learning pronouns, and particularly they-them pronouns, which for many of us are newer to us than he or she. So here's a trick that might help us practice and get better. Do you have a plant at home? An object? Anything? I'd like to introduce you to this plant that's on my dining room table. The tip is give it a name. Maybe it's a plant, maybe it's an appliance, your coffee maker, maybe it's your new seeds and new shoots in the garden, whatever it is, maybe you'll give them a name. Well, here, let's just say this plant on my kitchen table's name is Stripe. Stripe's pronouns are they, them. So now, whenever you interact with your plant or your coffee maker or your English daisy in the garden, you are going to practice. You're going to practice. Stripe is looking thirsty. They need some water. I wonder if Stripe is doing okay. Maybe it's time they had some fertilizer. Could you move them over and set the table? They're in the way. Part of our affirmation that we speak every Sunday is honoring who we are, no matter who we are. And the respect we offer to each other in the affirming journey is our learning. It's getting better at honoring each other, even when something is new and different. Can we make mistakes? Of course we can. We'll correct it and move on. And so let's get practicing, everyone. Let's get practicing. I can't wait to hear how you're practicing at home and what you've named. Who? Amazing. It's time for us to move on to our land acknowledgement this morning.
Hello, my name is Dara. Pronouns are he, him. And we acknowledge the long history of this land as a gift, the beauty and responsibility of our relationship with it as holders of Treaty 6, with appreciation that this was and is homeland and traveling route of the Cree, Dene, Nakota Sioux, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, and others. Today's land acknowledgement centers the writing of Wanda John Kahiwan, Cree Métis woman from Kahiwan, Alberta. She has studied criminology, sociology, Aboriginal studies, and creative writing. She uses poetry as a therapeutic medium to understanding and responding the near decimation of First Nation cultures, languages, and traditions. She writes, "May we come into this circle with open minds, ears, and hearts, and the wisdom to allow us to use our words each and every day in ways that benefit our friends, our family, and even people we just meet, so that we may make a difference to those around us in ways that they need most. May we have the gentleness of heart for others and ourselves so that we may overcome the human condition with strength, grace, beauty, compassion, and love. May we learn to forgive so that we may model forgiveness and faith for others, especially for those who are suffering around us, so that they may also see the beauty that is abundant through Mother Earth and Spirit. May we model for others the lightness of heart and the strength to go on as models of healing, lightness, and strength to those suffering in silence and suffering alone. May we lend courage to those who need a gentle push, a hug, or a kind word. May we put all judgments aside and remember we are all connected and the same. May we remember we all have the right to walk this earth in truth, freedom, and dignity, nothing less and nothing more."
It's a song of praise for the sacred, the threshings high in the tree. It's a song of praise for the sacred, the gray whale sings in the sea. And by the Spirit, you and I can join our voice to the cosmic cry and sing, sing, sing out the sacred tune. It's a call of life for the living when waves and waterfalls roar. It's a call of life for the living when high tides break on the shore. And by the Spirit, you and I can join our voice to the cosmic cry and sing, sing, sing of the sacred tune. It's a hymn The summer breeze joins the song, and in thy spirit you and I can join our voice to the cosmic cry, and sing, sing, sing of the sacred dew. It's the chorus of all creation. It's sung by all living things. It's the chorus of all creation, a song the universe sings. And by the Spirit, you and I can join our voice to the cosmic cry, and sing, sing, sing of the sacred dew.
That got the blood racing. Nice. Good, good, good. It's time for all ages. So, hello, Tyler. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to everyone. Come to the carpet if you'd like. I've got a story for you today. No, they're coming. You're just the fastest. Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, everyone. Well, today we're doing a little bit of talking in here and also in Kid Spirit about courage. Does anyone know what the word courage means? It's a tough word. There are other words for courage. Everyone around, what's another word for courage? Brave. Yes, do you have one? Kindness. Well, kindness can be courage, definitely. Courage is when something's hard, something's difficult, and you find some strength to do that thing anyway. Even though you're scared or even though it's difficult, courage helps you to do it. Yes. Oh, that's very good, Tyler. Determination is also a kind of courage. Very good. I want to read to you a story about a girl who had great courage, great determination, great kindness, great bravery. Her name is Malala, and this is her story that she wrote called Malala's Magic Pencil by Malala Yousafzai. Yes. So here is that story. When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry and it appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. How I wanted a magic pencil too. If I had a magic pencil, I would use it to put a lock on my door so my brothers couldn't bother me. I would use it to stop time so I could sleep an extra hour every morning. I would use it to erase the smell of the trash dump near our house. And I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father so he could open many schools where children would study for free, and a proper ball so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. Every night before I went to bed, I wished for a magic pencil of my own. And every morning I would wake up and check my cupboard, but the magic pencil was never there. When my father returned home from work, I told him, did I skip a page? I did. Thank you. One day, I was throwing away potato peels and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes, when I saw a girl about my age sorting trash into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. When my father returned home from work, I told him what I'd seen. It made him sad. "Abba," I said. "Yes, Yanni," he said back. I always liked when he called me dear one. "Why haven't I seen that girl in my class?" "Because," he said, but he didn't finish right away. "Because, Yanni, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school, and some children must work to support their family. Those boys will sell the metal scraps they find. If they went to school, their families would go hungry." School was my favorite place, but I had never considered myself lucky to be able to go to school. My father had always said, "Malala will live free as a bird." Now I wondered how free I'd truly be. That night, I thought about families who didn't have enough food and the girl who couldn't go to school, and even about how when I was older, I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I came from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew then that if I had the magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war, poverty, and hunger. Then I would draw girls and boys together as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class.
By the way, I'm actually the top student because every time we go on Chromebooks and we play on GameKit, I always win for some reason. I don't know.
Perfect.
And if it's
But soon, I'm going to continue with the story, Tyler. We'll talk after. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were no longer allowed to go to school. They walked the streets of our city now, and they carried guns and weapons. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. "Abba, where are all the students?" "They don't feel safe here anymore, Yanni." "How could a few men stop all the girls in our valley from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought they might help." Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt like to be scared to walk to school, and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat they faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and I traveled around my country sharing my story. I even talked to reporters from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that the dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. And now my voice is louder than ever, louder because people have joined me, and together we make a chorus standing up for what we believe. We raise our voices for those in need, help people in danger, even if they're an ocean away. Think of the world as a family. Do you still believe in magic? I do. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know it and help me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic that I was looking for in my words and in my hard work. I am Malala. I've always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place. And every day I work to make my wish come true. And here's what she's saying. one child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. That's the end of the story of Malala. But it's not the end, because Malala's still working, and she's still telling her story, and we're learning her story. And I wonder what will happen next when we all work together. So now, you are welcome to stay. You can stay on the carpet or stay in the room and listen to the choir, who are going to sing a song about Malala and the great courage and kindness and hope that she has. Or you are welcome also to make your way. Wes is ready for youth space. Kids are, Daisy and Ariane are ready for Kids Spirit. So you can go now or you can go later, but they're ready for you. Okay.
Well, it's a very busy time in the life of our community, and so we have some messages to share this morning. The first one is a big thank you for all of the donations that folks provide, whether that's dropping something in the box at the back of this space in the morning, or sharing through PAR, or writing your monthly check. Whatever it is that you provide to help us be and do the things that are important in this community. Next Saturday, I'm wearing 2 hats this morning because the gang, which is the Grandmothers of Alberta for a New Generation, part of the Grandmothers for the Stephen Lewis Foundation, we're offering what we're calling a climate change fashion show. I know, it sounds a bit bizarre, but let me tell you. We have a grandmother in Calgary who has created long vests, and she has about 30 of them, and every vest highlights some aspect of climate change. And she's, trust me, an artist. Every vest is an artist. And we've got some other folks coming to share with us, so we're going to do the fashion show, and we've got some folks from Scan Edmonton and Blenders and Reuse Edmonton, some stuff from the city, so that we can start to educate ourselves better around climate change. At the same time as a community, we are starting to really take a good look at our Earth Charter partnership as well. So invite you to attend. The cost is $20. You can find a link in the bulletin to actually register so we know who is coming. As I said earlier, I saw many of you yesterday and throughout the week, because this was the week of the Thrifty Treasures Market. And so yesterday was a busy day, and it was a success. And certainly many thanks to all of the volunteers who made the preparations and yesterday possible, and certainly for Joan to keeping it all pulled together. There was yeah. So a big thank you to everyone who helped, who worked, who contributed, who cleaned. I mean, we went downstairs to practice this morning, and it's just as clean as a whistle down there. So whoever did the cleanup did an outstanding job. So we think we made somewhere between $8,000 and $9,000 to contribute to our budget. So it's all about making Jakob happy, right? So another bit of news about moving and things is that Gilda, as we know, is moving, and she has some items that she wants to donate to Find before Wednesday. So she needs the help of some folks and a truck. So if you can help Gilda out, please see her after the service, and she will help you figure out exactly what is going to happen. Now we have some guests with us this morning to share other news that's happening. So Jonathan, there you are, okay, has a message for us from Bissell.
Thank you so much. Hi folks, my name's Jonathan Macrith. I use he, him pronouns. And I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on at Bissell, because SSUC and many congregants here are very involved in the life and work of poverty alleviation in our city. And we are having some major changes, and it's very good. It's all good things, and it's coming out of a lot of new partnerships. And it is coming out of a call from some major funders to shift the way that we do things so that we can report better successes. One of those things is that as an organization, we are not going to be able to do our big Drop Your Gaunch campaign. However, I know you very well, and I know Linda May and Mark Hetherington very well, and this is not going to go by silently. So, I'm very happy to be here to encourage SSUC's own Drop Your Gaunch campaign. Absolutely, please. Underwear still remains the #1 most requested thing by community members and participants that come to see us at Bissell. And even though we are shifting the way that we are doing our jobs, that's still the #1 most requested thing. And that's still something that we are absolutely willing to give out. With the shifts, we as an organization just don't have the capacity to do it ourselves. But I'm very inspired by what I've heard around here this morning, because it started with that candle and the idea that all of our lights come together to form this one light. And then I'm inspired by Malala's story and the magic pencil. Ooh, what would I do with the magic pencil that could erase poverty? Whew. Well, I'd be out of a job, but that's okay. I want to be. We don't do what we do at Bissell in a silo. We can't do what we do without communities like SSUC stepping up and saying, we don't really care that you don't have the capacity. We want to do this. That's the stuff that actually inspires us. I told my manager that I was coming to talk to SSUC, and she was like, oh yeah, they're doing Drop Your Gaunch again, aren't they? Like, it's just known. It's just known. The passion that you have for this city, the passion that you express when you do clothing drives, when you do underwear drives, when you go and buy Smile cookies, whatever it is that's contributing in some way, that's the inspiration. And that's how we're able to keep doing what we do. So thank you for everything that you've already done and what I know is going to come, because every year SSUC is our #1 razor for Gaunch. A little bit of logistics around that. The drive is going to kick off next week, and you're welcome to bring your Gaunch. There's already a box out front. I was very excited to see that there. You can feel free to bring it starting next week, and it's going to run for a few weeks, and then I'll swing by and pick it up. If you're not able to get out and buy, connect with Linda, and she'll be able to do either some buying for you or some online shopping. But thank you for who you are, and thank you for what you do, because we can't keep doing what we do at Bissell without folks like you doing what you do here. I really, truly appreciate every one of you. Thank you.
And we get to hear from Fergus and Jude this morning. We haven't seen them for a while, so it's great to have you back.
It's nice to be in trouble. It's good. In trouble from the grandmas. Where's the baby? Hello, it's good to see you. I hope you're well. So you probably know Emberwood as SSUC's outdoor arm or nature ministry, and you're not wrong, you're not wrong. Emberwood does host many things outside, but we've also really found we're about people coming back to themselves and exploring their inner world through solitude in nature. We do it in nature. We practice solitude and being alone in nature because the body's nervous system calms right down without you even doing anything. So if you go outside for 20 minutes, you'll feel a lot better. So that's why we do our practice of solitude and getting to know yourself again outside. So we've got stuff coming up. We're going to tell you about one thing. We're very excited about it. Here you go.
Yay, so you're like, what does that have to do with me and why are they talking to me this morning? So we're so thrilled. We've heard lots of feedback from folks here at SSUC and out in the community about wanting to come, have an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with themselves, to deepen their spirituality, to check in on their own well-being. How am I actually doing with everything that's going on in the world? And then they say this line, I have grandkids, I have kids, I have nieces and nephews, and I can't leave them. And we thought, well, simply bring them. So this summer, we are excited to have our program, Little Lodge and Little Forest School. So if you are a grandparent, a parent, a caregiver, an auntie, or an uncle, we have designed an opportunity in partnership with Edmonton Forest School for you to come and bring your little ones with you. So during the day, your kids will be, we're biased, but we think in some of the best childcare available. They'll be in an actual forest school program run by actual school educators. While you get to spend the day with us, doing a bit of ecotherapy, doing some solitude therapy, engaging with your spirituality. And then the evening is what we all want, screen-free, distraction-free time with our family around the campfire. Can you still hear me? Oh, there we go. So you and your family will be in a little cabin together. You're indoors, you don't have to worry about a tent. We take care of all your food. You don't have to worry about cooking. Your job is to come, to slow down, to check in with yourself. Your kids' job is to come and play. And then our job as a community is to come together in the evening, connect with each other, connect with our families, and spend some time outside together. So it's a weekend, August 16th and 17th, Saturday to Sunday. We'll be at Narrow Lake, which is about a 2-hour drive from Edmonton. And you're already thinking, I can't get out the door with kids in the morning. I know, I can't get out the door with kids in the morning. So we're gonna start nice and late in the day. You don't have to roll in until 10 o'clock.
We're up at 5. Well, 5:45, not too bad.
Then if you have little ones, you're like, 10, please, can't I get there at 7? We'll already have been up for 3 hours. So you'll come anytime before 10. We'll have the kids dropped off and ready to play with Miriam down at the lake for the forest school portion, while us adults will be on site doing ecotherapy, and then we'll move through the day at a nice gentle pace together. Today we'll be out in the foyer as you're leaving. Come get a gluten-free cookie from us, ask us your questions. We'll kind of pull folks into the lounge and give you more of an overview of the trip, answer your questions. And then we really hope to see you there. We only have 11 spots on this trip, and 4 have already been taken. So if you'd like to come chat with us, get your family registered. We'd love to see you at the lake this August.
Okay, we'll see you for some cookies after. Thanks.
Smart ladies bringing us food. And another one of our programs that is getting more and more active as we grow closer and closer to summer is Dragonfly. And Kiana and Briggs are here this morning, and we welcome them to update us on what's happening in their world.
Good morning, everybody. We keep having these really lovely individual conversations where Briggs and I get to say all the stuff we're really excited about. And we kept hearing like, come tell everyone. Everyone wants to know. So we're very excited to share a lot of cool stuff that's been going on lately.
So in February, we celebrated Winterfest, which is kind of our midway through the year check-in. So all of our kiddos that celebrate camp with us come together, all our community members, and we play out in the snow. We had a lot of fun. We also had Edmonton Vocal Minority come and do some singing for us. It was an absolutely incredible event, very well attended, and yeah, we were thrilled to have that event this February. Oh yes, we also sold cinnamon buns. We did a fundraiser for that, which we want to get more out into the community with that. We were just kind of dipping our toe in the water with fundraising to see how that went, and the people have spoken. They love cinnamon buns. We're going to do it again sometime soon.
So we've been doing this Dragonfly Family Swim. So we have been doing it for the season. This is our last one for the season until next year, or school year, September. So Saturday, June 14th, come on down. So we rent out Hardesty Pool. It's just us. Everyone can change in whatever change room that they feel best in. They can wear whatever they feel best in. We get a lot of very excited littles that get to wear their girl bathing suit or their boy bathing suit. And we get some very excited middle-aged and older folks who maybe haven't had the opportunity to feel safe in a swimming pool. In our first couple months, we almost every month had someone come and say, you know, I haven't swam in 20 years, and here I am. I went and bought a bathing suit, and here I am, ready to have fun. It's really, really a great time. So it's by donation. Come, bring everyone. We're not at capacity, so come.
We've got a couple recent success stories. We've launched a lot of pilot programs. 2025 has been such an exciting year for us, one of which being Dungeons and Dragonflies. So with that, we have kiddos come in and they get to create their own character and do a tabletop role-playing game. If anyone here is familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, it's that, but cooler. We were recently at the Geeky Gift Market, and we were at the front table. We were greeting people as they came in and accepting donations on behalf of camp. From doing that welcome, we received over $2,000 that will be sponsoring and funding our entire Dungeons and Dragonflies series coming up in September. Thank you. And Pride Month is coming up, so we're almost at the end of May here. Time is flying by. So with Pride Month, we are going to be in and around Edmonton, all around the outside of Edmonton, trying to connect with the community and see, you know, who else can we tell the good news about camp to?
Spread the good word. Spread the good camp word. We wanted to introduce our very special pal Brenna. So we were able to hire an executive assistant, which means that Briggs and I can do our day jobs and perhaps leisure for even a moment at a time, spend time with our families. So if you see Brenna around, make sure to say hi. They're really, really lovely, and they're doing a lot of administrative support for us. And helping make camp happen and make all this awesome stuff happen. So we just wanted it to be a familiar face if you see them around.
And you know, camp is right around the corner here. Within the first 24 hours of registration being open, we had 29 campers. Some of them, it opened at 8 a.m., like 8:01. We had so many campers that were ready and raring to go, and 14 volunteers. But that number needs to grow because we know that, you know, as time passes, more and more people are finding out about camp. They're getting interested in camp. They're applying to camp. They want to come and spend time with us. So if you know anyone that wants to come volunteer, wants to come hang out with some cool kiddos, if they not really like kids, but they support the idea, they can hang out in the kitchen. That's always important too. And we've got a couple things coming up that we're gonna ask for help with. So the volunteers, absolutely, we always need some more hands to make the work lighter. We're gonna have a muffin bee. So if some of you were present in the last couple of years where you come and bake muffins for the kids. We see a lot of kids that have food insecurity, so being able to have food always readily available at all times is so important that they can say, you know, my body needs food right now, let's go get it, and they can do that. And then, Kiana wrote patience. Do you want to tell us about that?
Sometimes on Sunday morning, when there's been 100 kids in your space, we all get out of your way and go to the swimming pool, but sometimes our mess is left behind. So we do our best, but we do request patience. I'm sure that for the camp weekend, it's going to be a little louder than normal. There will also be a lot more rainbows than normal, which is actually, you know, you would think impossible. There's a lot already. But just with your patience as we bring all our equipment in the weeks leading up to camp, but especially that camp weekend. I know when you come in for service, things might look a little different or messy or loud. So we just appreciate so much this amazing home at SSUC that we have, and we'll all be thinking of you here Sunday morning, just like sending you love and feeling the love that you all send back while we're at the pool, so that you all can have this great space for your regular meeting. That's all.
And camp is August 22nd to 24th, so that last kind of weekend before they start getting ready to go back to school. So kind of keep us in your thoughts, and send us good luck.
So those are some examples of the kind of life and work that happens through and around this community. And it takes all of us, so thanks to everyone for their participation and their action to actually make things happen. And now we can sing a song.
Good morning. My name is Marilyn Blackhall, and I'm delighted to take a couple of minutes this morning to share some history of the United Church. In 1942, my grandfather, Meredith Black Banting, made the decision to become a United Church minister. He served as a lay minister in Duval, Saskatchewan, while completing high school correspondence classes. He then served as a lay minister in Raymore and Viscount while attending St. Andrew's College in Saskatoon, where our Saskatoon community meets. He was ordained in Moose Jaw in 1948. In 1951, he baptized me in Central Butte, Saskatchewan, where he was the United Church minister. Like many of you, the United Church has been my church home since birth. Some of you may remember groups such as Messengers, Explorers, and CGIT. CGIT meaning Canadian Girls in Training. I have such fond memories of those groups, as well as the junior and intermediate choirs. They were all led by wonderful members of the congregation. When my grandfather was a minister, he had several multi-point pastoral charges, which meant he served multiple communities and led 2 or 3 gatherings each Sunday. When he was interviewed for a pastoral charge, he was asked such questions as, "What is your wife prepared to do? Lead the choir? Be superintendent of Sunday school, our kids' spirit? Different times for sure." During his ministry, he was provided with a manse, a house, in one of the communities where he served. These manses were usually very close to the church and varied in type and age, from very old to brand new, and from bungalow to 2-story. Lots has changed over the years, but what has remained is community, music, a commitment to outreach, and of course, a ministry lead.
One more step along the world I go. One more step along the world I go. From the old things to the new, I'll keep traveling in spirit true. And it's from the old I travel to the new. I'll keep traveling in spirit true. Round the corner of the world I turn, more and more about the world I learn. All the new things that I see, I'll be sharing with His family. And it's from the old I travel to the new. I'll keep traveling in spirit true. I'll need courage when the world is rough. I'll need loving though the world is tough. Keep dancing in all I do. I'll keep traveling in spirit true. And it's from the old I travel to the new. I'll keep traveling in spirit true. When it's easier to walk on by, I need love and looking eye to eye. Move to stand and help and care. I'll be seeking to do my share. And it's from the old I travel to the new. I'll keep traveling in spirit true.
We have a reading this morning from Mark 4, verses 35 to 41a. When evening had come, Jesus said to the disciples, "Let's go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. A great gale arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion, and they woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great awe. These are the words passed down from the first century Jesus tradition. May we find wisdom for our living.
Well, by my clock, I have 4 minutes for the reflection. Let's go. I'm grateful that we are in the midst of a series where we are using the inspiration of the 7 sacred truths passed along in the world by many, many indigenous traditions. To use those words and those teachings as inspiration. Today, as we talk about courage, I think that really it takes a lot of courage to not do even great things, as all of the greats in history have done, but it takes great courage simply to live each day, to hear what's going on around us in the world, to tackle it with some measure of grace and courage. I'm just going to turn that off and hope that the echoes goes away. So I want to tell you indigenous wisdom, wisdom from Malala this morning. How about another one? How about a Sufi parable? Because why not? There was a pious man who wanted nothing more than to succeed in life. Then one night he dreamed of going into the woods where he gained understanding. The next morning he went into the woods and wandered for several hours looking for some sign that would provide answers. And when he finally stopped to rest, he saw a fox with no legs lying between 2 rocks. Curious as to how a legless fox could survive, he waited until sunset, when he observed a lion come and lay meat before the fox. "Ah, I understand," the man thought. "The secret to success in life is to trust that all my needs will be taken care of. All I have to do is trust and surrender." 2 weeks later, weakened and starving, the man had another dream. And in it, he heard a voice that said, "You're a fool. Be the lion, not the fox." It seems that all we want in life is really to be able to interpret what's going on around us in ways that we can do what's right, that we can be the best people that we can be, that we can do what is good, what is helpful, what is positive. And, this dreamer in the parable wants to act according to those desires that we all have. The view of the world that always made sense to him was one of being passive, of waiting for the action to happen. And because it's the view of the world that made sense to him, he sees the role in the story that makes sense to him. it made sense that he is the fox who waits for rescue to be taken care of. This parable, though, asks us to question our interpretation always. What if our lens is wrong? What if instead there's something new to see? And if that's the case, then this poor man's understanding of responsibility is wrong. His action is wrong. He's focused on the wrong animal. He has agency, he has responsibility. Being the lion, the one who acts, might be the better way. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German pastor, theologian, and Nazi resistor, said it in this way in his writings compiled after his death, called Letters and Papers from Prison. He writes, "Action springs not from thoughts taking wing, but from a readiness for responsibility." Action is not from thoughts taking wing, but a readiness for responsibility. The courage to live this life is many things. To find courage to take a step of meaningful action, to be ready for responsibility. This is the legacy of the spiritual tradition. No matter what stream of the spiritual tradition we come from or we find ourselves in, we are all learning to train ourselves to be actors in some way, to be animators in some way of positive, right, just action. We want to do what is good and what is right. So, from the mystical Islam tradition to our own tradition, the story of Jesus in the storm, I wonder if maybe this is really the same story. Let's wonder about the lens with which we see this parable. The story has Jesus and his disciples in a boat. The story sets it up perfectly. There's a huge storm ready to engulf the boat. The disciples are nervous, sharing nervous glances at each other, and meanwhile, like any good story, a comic moment, Jesus, amidst all this stress and tension, is asleep. There's the setup. Where will this story take us? The disciples might have started yelling at him, "Don't just lie there, bail! Bail!" Instead, they attack him personally. "Teacher, don't you care that we're dying? How can you sleep when we're all this nervous?" They seem to be so caught up in the crisis that they're worried about what their teacher's doing rather than what they've trained their entire lives, I might add, to do. Let's not forget that these folks we call the disciples were weathered fisher folk. They weren't surprised by or afraid of a storm. They'd been there and done that 1,000 times. This was the Sea of Galilee. There were lots of storms. Every day that they ventured out was to engage in some risky business. They knew how to handle a storm. Yet here they are, all scurrying and screaming. Why? Could it be that they developed a pattern? We might even call it a rut. A kind of dependency on the relationships that they had with each other, and particularly with their leader. They'd fallen into that pattern of simply being the followers of the teacher, and that they lost their ability to think and decide for themselves, and then panic ensues. You, Jesus, you deal with the storm like you've been dealing with everything else. You're the expert here, you're the leader, you have the resources, you're failing to call upon them right now, you're asleep, you've left us to do what? To do what? What should we do? So he wakes up and he wonders aloud what has happened to them. Where has your faith gone? He calls them on their lack of action, and then as the story is told, the storm dies away. He speaks words and the storm calms. Now, I've said this countless times because we need to remember it. I'm over time by now 5 minutes, I'm sorry. I'm almost done. We need to remember this. It's not necessarily the most helpful thing to call these miracle stories, because human nature is no miracle. It's our everyday existence. Now, maybe the everyday is a miracle. Sure, okay, and that's fine. But this story, when we call them miracle stories, we think, oh, this is unusual. This is something special. Maybe this is just a story, like most stories in the spiritual tradition, that don't need to have happened at all for them to be true. It's not about the details. It is not about this man in the boat. It is not about the storm's beginning and the end. It is not about some kind of miracle of weather, obeying Jesus' commands. It's not about any of that. This story, like all of our spiritual stories, is about who? Us. This story is about us. All the stories are. Here's a story showing us a group of people who can't figure out what they're afraid of and relying on one person for everything. Forget that they've got resources and decades of experience on the sea to make decisions, to take action. Forget that they know what they're doing out there. They have fallen into relying on relationship patterns, on somebody else to take action. They've lost their faith. In what? Not in some power to save them, but in themselves. They forgot that they weren't the foxes. They were the lions. This story is prompting us to confront our fears, to forget our dependency, to remember that we have the resources, the agency, the strength to take action. One word, one pen, one teacher can change the world. We ourselves have the strength to take action. Bonhoeffer again. Action, where does it spring from? Not from thoughts taking wing, but from a readiness for responsibility. We are the ones. We are in our own boat, in our own storm, with the power, the strength, and the resources to bail, to row. When the storms of life are rockin', it is our sense of what is right and wrong for us, our convictions, our values, and the strength that we give each other to just take one step, to do something. These are what will save us. We know that when social energy flows toward hope, we find ourselves creating and supporting policies that are more generous, more oriented toward establishing peace, justice, are more inclusive. Now, think about that in terms of the politics of our day. Could I just for 1 second say this? Think about this. I'm stating it positively, but equally the negative is true. When energy flows more from fear, we are more exclusive. We establish policies and create things that are less generous, more hoarding, more about dividing and separating. So it's upon us then, isn't it, to know that social energy focused on hope is where we will be more generous, more oriented toward establishing peace and justice and inclusivity. The world needs us to do that. The province needs us to do that. The city needs us to do that. Our own community and families need us to do that. Our inner courage is one of the ways that we build that social energy to live into hope. So let's recognize the real resources out there. There are resources, but they are not our only ones. We start with the resources that are right here within us, in our hearts, the real resources of courage and strength within us. We are not always going to feel it. That's why we're here together, to remind ourselves, to remind each other of the strength and courage that lies within us and that we can elicit from each other. So with apologies, for 13 minutes rather than 3, may we be about the work of transformation now and always. That's what the spiritual life is all about. May it be so in so many ways, in all the boats and storms we find ourselves in. With courage comes light. With light comes courage. So take this light of community, take the light of wisdom, and take it where it needs to go. Within you, around you, to all the places that you need to take it. May the light of courage go with us.